First of all, I want to welcome you all to the meeting and wish you all happy St. Patrick's Day. Secondly, I would really like to have a moment of silence for two city employees who passed away within the last couple of weeks. The first one is Nelson Ortiz, who was the recreation director for many years. And the next one was Sergeant Charles Sayden, who was a police officer in the city of Lawrence. So we just have a moment of silence, please. Okay, first of all, I have something to say. After reading Sergeant Sayden's obituary, he epitomizes what the residents of the city of Lawrence need, want, and deserve to keep our city safe. Our condolences to the police officers who have worked with him and for many years and were his friends. I'm sure he will be greatly missed. May they both rest in peace. Okay, so now it's police, fire?
No, we yield to the chief.
Oh, okay. So,
Can we turn the music down? He's old enough and he just watched the table.
I just cleaned the table, I earned my keep. Hello, how's everybody?
All right, chief.
Excellent, excellent. My partner showed up. We're not going to have a comedy routine because it's not allowed to speak in public.
Absolutely.
All right, so
They said they're gonna, go to the chief. I thought they meant me.
yeah, of course. I knew you would. You're a fathead like that. Wow. No. So, we're trying to make comedy, Sometimes the jokes work, sometimes they don't. All right, so we just changed our clocks. We checked their batteries and their smoke detectors. How many of you guys are lying? All right. Remember. Now, most of the ones you buy today are good for 10 years, but you should still check them. 10 years, it's like a warranty in your car. It's good for 60,000 miles, and it doesn't always make it. So, you should always check them, and that's just a reminder. Daylight savings time is the time to check them. Make sure they still work. And she's right. You buy one today, and it's a 10-year sealed lithium battery. You can't even take it out if it's no good. And they do go bad. A lot of the calls we go to are for chirping and just like detectives going bad, and just time to replace them. A lot of them nowadays are hardwired in. We're getting a lot of progress in the city in fire prevention, with rebuilding buildings, and a lot of the new construction, we get sprinklers and hardwired fire alarm systems, so it's really good. So it improves the safety for everybody, including my guys, because we have a big issue with residential structures in the city and problems for us. So I'll get into that. So, last big fires. Well, we had a fire on 170 Salem Street on the south side. That was in January. I think you all remember that? Yeah. Our guys made a great rescue. There was a civilian trapped in the round tower section. He was trapped in there, and that's not a normal area to go. It doesn't even have a full-size door. It has one of those half doors. You get in there, you shut the door, was banging on the window. My guys put the ladder 4, put the ladder up. They broke out the window, they pulled them out. Same time, we tried to rescue from the inside. So the squad went inside, climbed to the 3rd floor. The captain and a brand new firefighter, it's his first fire. They went in and they got lost. They couldn't find their way out. So the captain kept his cool. He found the window, broke the window, and we pulled them out over the ladder too. And the reason I bring that up, and I say the problem with residents, we have a big problem with illegal apartments in the city. Right? So I am no longer going to be quiet about it because it almost killed 2 of my guys in a civilian. That's the first time, Roy, I've ever been applauded.
Or the last time too.
We're not about putting people on the sidewalk and making them cold and anything, but we're about doing it right, doing it safe. So we'll take phone calls anonymously or otherwise. You know somebody or you know yourself, you're in a place and you don't feel it safe, give us a call. We'll come check it out with you. We'll go through you, make sure you have the proper detection, proper stairways, exits, and entrances, and make sure it's legal. I'll tell you right now, our biggest problems are basements and attics. Those are places where people aren't supposed to live. You're not supposed to live in those two areas. Attics are supposed to be attics, and you know what, we're in New England. It's an airlock. It separates the living space from the outside cold, and it's not designed for living. People are finishing them, putting apartments in, and we've had a rescue on Arlington Street where the lady had to jump out the window onto the back deck fully naked because she was almost gonna die. My guys pulled her off the roof, totally illegal apartment. Fire come up the stairs. It actually started in her apartment, blocked the stairs, and didn't have the proper detection. And we had this fire over here. I've been the fire chief here 9 years this month. Wow.
It feels like 20.
But the reason I tell you that is not because, and thank you, by the way, it's because I haven't had a residential structure fire in this city that hasn't had an illegal apartment or bedroom in a basement, an attic, or a front porch. All right, so again, I'm not trying to make people homeless. We're not trying to push them out. We want people to be safe. So if you know of something, you hear of something, please give us a call, and we'll work with ISD, and we'll work with the building department. We're gonna try to make it safe. I'm actually gonna put in, and I hope that the council will approve it. In the near future, I wanna put in for some free cash to buy smoke and CO detectors so that when we go out, if we find a place as a last resort, we'll put them in, we'll give them to be put in, rather than let them go unsafe. But as a last resort, we don't wanna just give away free stuff. All right, so we had that fire. The other night, we had a fire in Dorchester Street. A kitchen fire. Once again, what do I say about cooking? Stand by your pan. You can't leave it. So this woman had a cooking, going away, the pan's cooking the sauce, it's flying. She put a blender right next to it, plastic, turned that on, and then started on fire. And then instead of unplugging it, put it out, she threw towels on it, and then the fire just got bigger. When my guys got there, that whole first floor kitchen was rolling. I mean, it was a good fire, which really, your term, that's a bad fire, right? We call it a good fire, it's bad, but they stopped it. My guys, Engine 9 did a great job. Stopped it, no extension upstairs, although we did check, break a few walls, just to make sure it doesn't balloon frame building. But no extensions, a great stop, so that building's salvageable. No one got hurt. There were no kids in there, but we did have a few people. How many did we tell you? 7, 8, 9? Seven people had to find another place to live for a while. And the other thing about that fire, which I was just showing some of the guys a little while ago, is there's a resident in there who smokes. Okay, everybody smokes. Not everybody smokes. A lot of people smoke, a lot fewer than yesteryear, but you gotta put them out in a non-combustible container, maybe full of some sand and some water. I went into this porch in the 3rd floor. I had never seen so many cigarettes in my entire life. There must have been 10,000 cigarettes on the floor, on the chair, stuffed in ashtrays falling over. And when I talked to the resident about it, I actually told him how disgusting it was. I didn't cut any, well, I wasn't wicked polite. I would say, it's disgusting in there. I said it with a smile, but that was dangerous. And he didn't get it. And I said, sir, we're lucky that wasn't where the fire is. Cigarettes start fire all the time. And he said, nah, it wouldn't happen. So he was definitely non-compliant, didn't understand the seriousness of his issue. But cigarettes, put them out, put them all the way out. I have little red buckets with our Lawrence patch on them, says put it out, put it all the way out. If anybody wants, we try to give them out when we have social events. I guess this is a social event. I probably could have brought some. I'll figure that the next time. But that's my other public service announcement. Hope I'm not boring. All right, so our truck. We have a Quint being built on a grant, a little more than half of the grant. The city come up with the rest. I think that the big rev companies, the big shots, play games with numbers and timing. They told us it would be this month, and now I'm being told it won't be until September. So I'm a little irritated with them. I wrote them some nasty letters saying I think that anybody who's paid as much as they get paid to run a multi-million-dollar corporation ought to be able to figure out timing for a year. And I think it's a game, but didn't get me anywhere except a nice letter back. But We're still working on it. Still, even if I had ordered it in the regular process, it would have been 2.5 years out. So we're still gonna get it in just a little over a year. It's be here in September. That's what they're telling me now. So I didn't want you guys all to think I lost any issues with it. The last time I was here, I told you we were working on hiring firefighters. We hired 7 firefighters, and then they went to the academy, and now we're down to 6. One didn't believe us when we told us it was a difficult thing. You had to study, you had to pass. He didn't, so I let him go. But we have 6 really good firefighters. They're really into the job. The officers are telling me they study all the time. They're working hard. And the fire over here in Dorchester Street was one of the kids' first fires. So the other one that lost on Salem Street, he had lost a trap. That was his first fire. He probably doesn't even. He came out of the. Oh no, I'm good, chief. He probably has no idea how bad he had it. I said to the captain, I said, "It's good that you realized that. I don't think he realized how much trouble he was really in." But they'll learn. The end of this month, firefighter Mike Swabrick will be retiring, March 31st. I don't know if anybody knows Swabricks. They're big in the fire department. Their father was on the job. He had a brother who's already retired, who unfortunately has passed. He's got another brother who's on the job, Dave. And Mike is retiring the end of the month. We wish him well, if anybody that knows him. I'm still working, trying to get the mayor to sign off on the fire prevention officer for the schools. The schools are going to pay for the youth fire starter program and a fire lieutenant full-time just in the schools. Juan and I can't understand why it's being dragged out like this, because the schools are going to pay for it. There's no risk to us. They're going to pay for it just like they pay for the 5 police officers that work in the schools, and they bought 2 cruisers, trying to get 1 lieutenant. They're having a hard time doing it. But I think it's important because we do have a lot of problems. Since I've been here, we've had 2 school fires, 2 good school fires, Rollins School and Bruce School. And we have a lot of kids playing with fire, lighting papers and fires in the bathroom, pulling hooks, all those kind of things. And we get them in a fire starter program. And the schools want to pay for that too, because they see the benefits of that in home, in the schools. And Juan has been super cooperative. I just can't get it over the hurdle. I have been working with a lot of groups. We're doing presentations, and last week was Read Across America. So I went to the charter school in May Street, and I was reading. I came up. They're only, I don't know, first graders, kindergarten, little tiny kids. They were all excited to see me. He said, "Did you bring the truck?" Of course, I drive a car, so I said, "No, I didn't bring a truck." "Oh, we wanted to see the truck." I said, "Oh, it's all right. We'll do the truck another time." So I just get the book, started reading, the fire alarms went off. The teacher looks at me, "Should you do that?" I said, "No, I didn't." I said, "Everybody out, let's go." So then they got to see all the trucks. So it worked out. It worked out. It was kind of cute. And when I come in, I read to them. The cutest bunch of kids. I was leaving. I get down and talk to them. They're hugging me, giving me big hugs. I was like, I never felt so good. The 19th, next week, is the Exchange Club's Firefighter, Police Officer, EMT of the Year award. I've selected the crew from Ladder 4 that rescued the civilian. They'll be honored this year, which is Lieutenant Murphy, a firefighter Fravel, and a firefighter Sweeney. So if any of you guys follow us on Facebook, you know who Sweeney is, because kids like Hollywood. He's all over taking pictures, doing all kinds of stuff. But they did a good job, great rescue, and so we're going to honor them next week. That's the 19th. It'll be in Andover Exchange Club. And last week, of course, we participated with the police in that sad event that none of us will ever get over. Went way too soon, too young, but it was a very respectful service. We put up the ladder with the flags at Central when they brought them home, and then we did it here again on South Broadway for the service. So it went well. Unfortunately, it rained like heck that day, but everything went pretty good. Serious face. Did I do something wrong?
Who's that policeman's name?
How do you say it? Sandon?
Sandon.
Sandon.
Sandy?
Sergeant Sandon.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So that's all I have. It was really important or official. Anybody got any questions for me? Yes, sir.
Yeah, my home fire extinguisher is expiring. Apparently there's fire blankets also. Which do you think is better?
I would go with the extinguisher. A fire blanket, you kind of have to know what you're doing with a fire blanket. Because if you throw it on wrong, like you're throwing a blanket on your bed, you're gonna whoosh the fire right out at you. I'm sorry, I'm stepping on your tape here. So I think an extinguisher is better. It gives you distance, pull, point, squeeze, and sweep. So I think that's better. It keeps you away from the fire. That's my suggestion. Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
You're getting some new firemen.
We do.
Now, do you have any, like, policemen, they got new policemen, and they, a lot of them went to other cities for more money? They had said here.
Losing them to other cities for more money. We've lost a few to Logan Airport, and that's probably because of more money Massport.
Yeah.
But honestly, and this isn't a really good reason to want, but it's good. We're a busy fire department, and we're pretty well known for fires and aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And the guys come here, they don't want to go anywhere else.
Okay.
So they actually like the action here, which is what we're trying to stop. That's what fire prevention's all about, but it's also what draws the young, strong guys who really want to get in and do it.
Because I know the police have said they lose a lot of them to the.
Well, I mean, we're talking about cops. I mean,
Yeah.
Anybody else have,
All about leadership.
anybody else have any questions? I want to thank you very much for your time. See you next time. Can we get your tape, retape your little thing? I've seen you kick it like.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll be all set. No problem, Chief.
I don't want anybody to trip.
Yeah, why don't we-
Twice I was in here.
Good morning, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Just on, Jay and I were talking, those of you that support us, Charlie's Waken funeral, thank you very much. Thank you to the fire department that were right there with us all along the way. Charlie was a great guy. He was a good friend of mine. We went to the academy together, and he was like the little brother I never wanted. I used to always tell him that. But it was real. He was everything you want in a friend, a police officer. And the showing we had was phenomenal for him. Right from the moment I was with him from the moment he got to the hospital till his final breath, actually. And when that happened, in a moment's notice with the pal here, Lieutenant Cirillo, we had about 80 police officers down at the hospital, and we lined the hallways and brought them to the morgue. And then we went to the ME, and a few days later, we had the whole thing all over again, bringing them back to Lawrence, and that was a tremendous showing in front of the police station, as Chief Moriarty said. And then, of course, to the wake and the funeral of, apologize for any traffic jams. I can only imagine what it was like around here during those two events, but he was certainly deserving of it. He was a very, very private guy. Jay and I were just joking, he's buried up at Sacred Heart Cemetery, and his head is on his head is right on 495 pretty much. And he loved to drive to Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. We had a small camp up there, and he liked to fish by himself in peace and quiet, so now he's there for eternity. So he was a wonderful guy, and all the fanfare, which was so well deserved. He probably would not want any part of it, but it was really nice to see, and thank you for your support and your moment of silence. And if there was any person that ever worked in this department that was worthy of such an honor, it was him. I thank you for the obituary. I wrote that. And his daughter and I gave the eulogy at his funeral, and she knocked it out of the park, and I was a babbling idiot for about 10 minutes. So she was phenomenal. She's 16 years old. He's a son, 14, and they've been very strong through the whole thing. So thank you for that. And with that, I will go on to the numbers. Homicide, we had 0. These are from December to February 29th. Citywide, we had 3. Robberies, we had 2. Citywide, we had 12. Non-domestic assaults, we had 1. Citywide, we had 35. Residential burglaries, we had 0. Citywide, we had 19. Commercial burglaries, we had 0. Citywide, we had 7. Larcenies, we had 0. Citywide, we had 14. Motor vehicle theft over here, 0. And citywide, we had 18. Before I hand it over to Lieutenant Cirillo, there was, I forgot this one. Chief Castro came here and he said something with his daughter. I don't know if it's what kind of event, but it was a very important event. He sent his regrets. So the day of Charlie's wake, there were no details in the entire city because we had to stage all the officers around 11:30 to be at St. Pat's when he got there at 1 o'clock to salute him. TD Bank got robbed. but with normal detail here, it would have been that day, so you can, you know, read between the lines a little bit on that one, but thankfully through video and other forensics, we were able to get a suspect, and he's now in custody. He was arrested 2 days later on Friday morning without. Happy to do that. With that, I'll hand it over to Lieutenant Sorolla.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? Glad to be here. So again, just a couple of things we're working on in the PD. We once again secured the FY24 traffic grant. Again, that allows us to do some extra traffic operations certain times of the year. There's usually 6 or 8 campaigns that our monthly one is coming up in April. It's distracted driving, so we'll be focusing on that. It also allows us to buy some equipment, speed boards, radar guns, things of that nature. In that grant, there's also a very important piece to it. It's the pedestrian safety grant, so you might have seen us doing some crosswalks. We're trying to do them across the city. We've been working on the Cumberland Farm one over here because it's dangerous. I know I'm looking at you when I say that, but it's that's definitely one of the dangerous intersections in the city, so we focus on that one. We focus on the one on Appleton Way, Essex Street, and then another major one is Winthrop Ave over by Wendy's, which is very dangerous. But again, you have any other suggestions or any ones that you feel that are of importance, please get us the information, and we'll do that. And when I say we do operations, we do decoy operations where we have an officer in plain clothes walking across the street, and then we have several cruisers, maybe 8 or 10, waiting. It's certainly like shooting fish in a barrel when people don't stop. So again, we write an abundance of tickets. So that's a great grant. We've got it back again, so look for us out there. We'll be doing more operations, and if you have any suggestions, let us know. The chief mentioned they graduated 6 in the academy. We weren't so fortunate. We have 1 in the academy right now, and he graduates in April, but it wasn't for lack of trying. I believe we started with 41 names that signed the list. We were looking for, I think, 10 to 12. 10 to 12, high end 20. I didn't think we'd ever get to 20, but 10 to 12. Out of 41 names, I believe only 21 signed. Out of 21, maybe 8 filled the background. Eventually we got to 6. We sent 4 to the academy. 2 quit in the first week, and then a third quit, I think, or failed out. So now that gives us down to 1. So again, it's a struggle, and it's not for lack of trying. Again, we started with 41 candidates. So we are once again starting the process. We're going to try to get 20 in the academy. I believe there's a new academy starting in June. That's the goal. So we'll see if we fare any better at this time. Certainly, we're also losing. We're not retaining people because of the money, but the city did come to terms with the patrolmen's union. They got a significant, the mayor gave them a significant contract. It was approved by the city council. Thank you. So again, that's kind of closed the gap to other neighboring departments, because again, I'll just give you an example. I think Methuen makes $35,000 more than a patrolman walking in the door in Lawrence. So again, that's pretty tough to compete with. But I think they're within, again, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think they're within 3,000 to 5,000 now, Tom.
According to Chief
According-
McNamara.
Yeah, according to sources, they're within 3,000 to 5,000, which again should keep people here, so we can retain some of the good some of the good offices that we have, and they're not going to the state and other places. Again, warm weather's coming, so I'm sure everybody's seen the dirt bikes out. They're starting once again. It's a difficult thing for us. We did pass an ordinance for dirt bikes. We're trying to enforce that the best we can, and also come up with new innovative ways to try to stop this. So we do have some things in the works, and we're going to try to implement them this year and see how we work. But again, it's not a problem that's unique to Lawrence. It's all across the state and the country. So again, we're working on it. With that, I'll close. Does anybody have any questions or concerns that I can answer? Go ahead, sir.
So we were talking about how many officers are in the How many do you have during the day compared to at night? Significant amount difference?
All the platoons about have the same amount of officers. I think each platoon is about 22 guys right now, and again, not all 22 are working at the same time. Again, you have days off, you have some platoons that are off, so you have 2 platoons working. But I would say the average on the street is between 7 and 8 cars. That means there's an officer for each sector. There's 6 sectors in the city, and there's an officer for each sector, and then there's usually a rover or a couple of roving cars. And then you're supplemented with community policing, detectives, housing, school guys. But it varies. At night in limited, you have more just patrol division guys. So again, you might have 7 to 8 cars. You have detectives that are filled till 1 o'clock, and then that's it. And then you have gangs and auto theft. So on average, patrolling, I would say 7 to 8 cars.
Lieutenant,
Yes, sir.
how many guys are we down?
We're down right now, I think we're
We're down 10.
10, I think, 10 or 12. I think it's 164, so I think we're down about 10 or 12. But again, there's also officers that are putting in for other jobs and leaving, retiring. I think we're anticipating 3 or 4, maybe as many as 5 retirements this year. So again, you can see where, and what people don't realize, we need officers to answer the calls for service, right? That means when you call 911, somebody's got to come answer that call. So where do the other, what takes the beating? It's community policing. I have 4 guys in community policing right now. I used to have 13, 14 guys. I'm down to 4 guys. Gangs and drugs are down. Detectives are down. Because again, you need people to answer calls for service before you can supplement the other units. So again, we feel it across the board. It's very difficult. They're still answering the calls, but a lot of the other stuff, the other stuff that you see, the community policing stuff like that, just don't have the officers to do it, unfortunately.
Okay, well, you talked about the bikes, they're out in the streets already. How can we help? I mean, what would you like?
The biggest thing you can do is call us and BRIs, because again, they take off on us. They're storing these bikes somewhere. If you can get a house on your street that they're storing them at, you don't have to give us your name. Just give us where the bike is. We'll get up with the fire department, inspectional services, and we'll do an admin inspection over there. So again, the biggest thing I can ask for the public to do is BRIs, see where they're being stored.
Okay, you can't, when they come by the house or the street, I'm on Mount Vernon. There's nothing I can do. They're gone. They do their wheelies and they're gone, right? Okay.
And a lot of them don't have plates on there to identify them, or they lift the plates off. Again, a lot of the dirt bikes that are illegal don't have to, they can't be registered, so they're not gonna have a plate. So again, if you live in a neighborhood, you see these guys and they go back to, 16 Mount Vernon Street, get us into the information and we can take care of it.
So the same thing would be like those ATVs. That just was recent, which shocked me, the 4-wheel.
Yeah.
But also the 1 wheel in the front, 2 wheels in the back. Are they able to get a license to drive on a road?
No.
So none of those technically.
No, I mean, again, a trike, if it's like a motorcycle
Yeah.
trike, those are legal.
Well,
Again,
the
like, so
ATV
Harley
though.
Davidson might have, Harley Davidson's got trikes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, those are legal, but again, everybody
Once
knows
you see
what,
on TV and
yeah,
they're driving through the beach and.
no good,
So.
no good. Go ahead, sir.
So, a lot of these kids, as you know, they still use the gas stations. You know they're pumping up very fast. It's out right there.
So in the ordinance that we passed, we have the filling stations can be fined. We talked to a lot of them. They are cooperating. Happiness is great. Cumberland's, I know we've had a few issues with them, so we're gonna start addressing them by fineage.
They come in with 15 of those bikes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's.
So again, same thing.
That's where I got hit last year.
Yeah, same thing. If you see them going in and fueling up, get a hold of me. I'll give you my number. I'll give you shoot me a text, and then we'll go over there, pull the video, and we'll find them.
That's the easiest way to pull it
Yep.
up, the video plus
Yep.
the credit card.
Absolutely.
You're not that smart. so-
Yep. And we'll, again, we're not looking to find the filling stations, but we're trying to make it a lot harder for these guys to fill up so they can go, again, let them go elsewhere. You know what I mean? Go ahead, sir.
The only thing I don't like is when they go down the sidewalk with their dirt bikes and motorcycles at 50, 60 miles an hour. It's gonna kill somebody.
That puts down right there.
I hit my head last year. Not once, the kid turned around and hit me again.
What?
Yeah, last year.
We had, they ran over a state trooper during one of the during one Saturday night, and then attacked them. So again, it's bad. You know, and again, we can't chase them, you can't bump them off the bikes, you can't do any of that. If we chase them and they get injured, we're in trouble. So, again, we're up against it, so that's why we're talking about more surveillance. You know, when Chief Bass was here, we're having a big problem with rim and tires, right? And we came up with a plan where we started to do surveillance. And again, it takes some time, but that's where you get your best bang for your buck. So again, if people start calling us and say, hey, there's one store here, I saw it going into a storage place, we can do administrative inspections and start to take these bikes and hold them, like we've been doing. Last year, I think we held somewhere around maybe 42 bikes, and again, out of those 42, they didn't get a lot of those back, you know, which is good. That's 42 off the street. And they're not cheap to go buy, so it's not like they're gonna be able to run right out and buy a new one. I mean, some of them will, but they're not cheap. So that's the biggest thing I think we can do to solve this problem.
Do you think with all the building that we've been doing and less offices, losing offices, that's such a smart situation that we're headed in right now?
Well, again, I can tell you the calls for service are sky high. And again, that goes to obviously a heavily populated city. I think we answered over 66,000 calls for service last year. And that's answered, like I said, by probably 100 guys. I mean, that's, you know, they're averaging anywhere between 150 and 160 calls for service per shift. I mean, the lieutenant was on the police department for a long time. I mean, these numbers are outrageous, crazy. I mean, they're writing 8, 9 reports a day. I mean, you've got tons of medicals. Again, it's just a busy city, you know. And again, increasing the population certainly isn't going to help.
Well, I think like this whole area is probably like quality of life, and if you can't touch upon that, like, you know what I mean? Like this area, like we're missing out on things that we should be getting.
Well, again, when you don't have the amount of offices to
No,
put in
I'm not
these.
blaming you.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying, that's what, you know, again, we used to be able to put guys out on a boat and do that. We have guys on bicycles. So again, you've got, with the limited amount of guys, you've got to keep coming up with different plans to try to, you know, compensate for that lack of involvement in the community. And it's tough.
So previously, when Chief Roy Bass was the chief of the department, to my understanding, he was working with less money and we didn't have this record-breaking surplus in the city. So how is it that we have a record-breaking surplus in the city, yet you're still bleeding officers? And secondly, if we are able to identify what exactly the department, not as a whole, maybe at the management or leadership level is doing wrong, how do you guys plan on working with the city council and the president here to try to close that gap? Because I think that's the important part of the meetings is to try to identify not only the solution, but sit at the table and discuss.
Well, again, I think one of the first things, and I think the chief would probably agree, was to get the money to where it is. And again, I think that was the first step in the right direction, certainly. And again, I think that will retain some guys. But again, there's also other issues why people, you know. So I don't think the money solves everything. But.
I don't know. From what I hear is that I know that it's a tough time to be a police officer. I just don't understand how we went from an award-winning community policing division to 4 officers. I don't get how you guys were the talk of the law enforcement community in the area, and those same people who are applauding you are looking at the city a little differently. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think that when they say there's always room for improvement, I think this is proof of how true that statement truly is. We're absolutely lacking as a city. I think that certain leadership styles, if you will, maybe have played a role in that. I interested to see what the new city council, the new president, the new vice president, and the police department can come up with as far as solutions to address some of these hard
Well, I can tell you one thing, the men and women of the Lawrence Police Department haven't stopped working any harder because Chief Basque is gone. We're still working just as hard. I mean, we have great leadership under him, but I can tell you, nobody in the city's quit. So, again, that, you can say whatever you want, but it's definitely not the men and women.
No, I'm saying you guys are
We're
working
working
harder
We're working hard.
than what you were before.
Yeah,
And-
well,
and
I don't know about that, but again, I can just tell you that the men and women work hard every day. I haven't seen any change in the way they're working. Again, things are tough. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, we can't get things done with 4 or 5 guys in the real police. Absolutely.
And again, I don't want you to misunderstand.
No, I get what
I
you're
just,
coming from.
again, I want to reiterate that you are working harder
Yeah.
because now you have 5 guys doing the work of 10 guys when you should have 15 on the payroll.
No, I agree.
And we have the capability to put 15 on the payroll. So that's my frustration, that's all.
You know, just a second, you read the report of incidents, right? Is that significantly higher than this time last year? It doesn't sound, I mean, I didn't hear that,
I don't think
that the city is bursting with problems, and everything has problems. I didn't hear that we're going downhill. I mean, you've got report, you've done your job, but I don't hear.
Yeah, I mean, I think crime is, I'm not sure, what the level it's at right now, but I mean, I wouldn't say that the city's skyrocketing now.
That's what I think.
I mean, we might be a little up, we might be trending upward a little bit, but I wouldn't say that it's out of control. I mean, again, we have issues. There's a lot of issues. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, and we're trying to tackle those issues with less officers. So again, it's certainly challenging. It's challenging times, and we're working harder, and we're trying to do the best we can. But I wouldn't say the city's out of control.
That's what I agree.
Not so much out of control, it's just the number of service calls are going up, and the amount of personnel to answer those calls is going
Yeah,
up.
you're absolutely right.
So it may not be spiraling out of control, but when you look at it in a point of sustainability, over time, that gap is gonna continue to grow if we don't begin to address what's increasing the gap.
And again, it's very difficult for any police department at this time to retain and get officers. Again, we were really behind the 8 ball with the salaries because they were so low. Now let's see what happens. I mean, if people still leave, once this raise kicks in and they get the money, then there's a problem. We're gonna have to start seeing what the problem is. Is it leadership? Is it something else? But again, we'll see, because again, like I said, we've closed that gap.
The other issue is, you gotta remember, we've said it many, many times. It takes a year from when the time the process starts to when that officer is actually he or she is out on the street by themselves. So the hiring process, a lot of bureaucratic red tape with civil service, you gotta get up to a test, then you gotta get up to a physical, a psychological, then they do 26 weeks in the police academy, then they come out and they ride with somebody for 12 weeks, and then they're running. So even if we had all the money in the world to hire 40 police officers, it wouldn't be free. To a year from now, they'd have to be on their own by themselves. Give or take a few weeks.
Same situation every other department's dealing with, hiring and all that, as far as retention is Methuen, not having a problem with retaining officers? I don't think so.
Oh,
So, it's not just about money.
but it's just that the length of time is and to Jay's point, I think, I can't speak for the younger guys, I only got a few more years left, but the fact that we're heading in that direction, the fact that all these there was a lot of officers that had education degrees in criminal justice, associates, bachelor's, masters. They're now getting paid for them, but they haven't in the past. So there's one female officer, I think she's got a 37% raise in this contract because she has her master's degree. So I mean, I would think, but again, it's the workload and all that. I don't know why they're all. Money was definitely a big factor, I believe.
Lieutenant, I'm going to keep it simple. Juan Manny Gonzalez, firefighter in Lawrence for 28 years, community activist. I'm a true believer of public safety. As a firefighter, I see what you guys do. We work hand in hand. I truly believe that the department should be given the tools, the necessary tools to do the job. Don't politicize the departments. The name calling has to stop, whether it's the fire department or the police department. We can't be doing that. Every time you go and you start calling out the guys, they're doing great work. Our guys are doing great work as well. But when you make it a political agenda and you start calling out names, the public is now talking about the police officers being the bad guys. We don't need that. Crime is going to always be there, and we have a choice. We can make it better or we can make it worse. I truly believe that we have to stay proactive. I bothered the man in the blue coat, Marco Clan. He's my city council in District F. Even as simple as people doing donuts at the old showcase, because he disturbs the neighborhood. So we got to stay watching out, looking out for each other. But I truly believe that we need the tools to do our job. I know that they have policies, not chase, but when you say stuff like that by certain people, then the guys on the bikes know that they're not going to chase, so they do whatever they want. And so until we stop that, we got to work hand in hand, look out for each other, and let's make it better. But again, take the politics out of it, stop pointing fingers at one department or the other. I think we're going to have a better city.
I just want to say, last night, there was dirt bikes going on 28. They almost hit the pedestrian. The cops are right there, not right after.
Well, again, they,
I don't know how far they got,
Yeah.
but I know they put
I
lights
mean,
on
they'll
the
try to activate their lights to pull them over, but if the guy doesn't pull over,
Yeah, I don't know how far they went, but it was good just to see that.
Yep.
Because, like you said, we always see them over in Humvees, and they do wheelies all through the cars and the four-wheelers. And sometimes they actually go in those garages in the back.
okay.
And then the apartments on the, where Happiness car washes,
In the street?
they go in there.
Okay. Okay. That's
Those
good.
are where I've seen them, we're right on the corner of
Yeah.
South Broadway and Harley, but that's where we've seen them go in. Cause I'm always the front porch smoking cigarettes anyway, so I'm constantly seeing them.
All right, anybody else have any questions?
We'll be here, so if you want to see us privately, okay.
Since we are the president of the city council, on the state bank, when is the police station foundation gonna start?
Oh,
Tommy, can I get Tommy?
yeah. May, June. Yeah.
Because the park
Never.
will be done before.
What is it? Well, we're parking the head lot, head start, and that. And they play the ground, yeah. It's scheduled for May, June now, you know.
Should have been done a long time ago.
Oh, that's not gonna be bureaucracy, let me tell you that. The St. Pat's School, oh, by the way, just so you know, they're building a new, they're building a new Lawrence Catholic Academy. It's gonna be a major construction thing going on over there. If you want to save some sanity, stay away from Salem Street from 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock in the morning, and from 2 to 3 if you don't want to lose your temper. All right. Thank you.
You guys are doing a great job.
Now have Council President and Council Lodge, Giovanni Rodriguez. And I guess Stephanie is not going to be making it tonight, so tell them off the plan.
Sure. Council President, speak first.
Hello. Well, my name is Giovanni Rodriguez. I'm a councilor at large now. I used to be the councilor for District B for 8 years, and I decided to run at large, and I was lucky enough to get a lot of people vote, and they chose me to be one of the at-large councilors. So since then, I become the city council president, and I'm actually serving as the city council president and council at large first time. So that's why I'm actually now going through every neighborhood association. I'm happy to be here, happy to join the organization, and happy to make it better, because I believe that getting all together and bringing those opinions truly matters to the city. The city council have worked, and it's been working on many different things, and I actually took a few notes to bring that up and talk about that stuff. The first thing that we're working on, that just a week and a half ago, we authorizing a consultant to work on a plan regarding to municipal aggregation. And those are basically a provider of energy provider that the city is going to have as a choice. Essentially, the plan is going to be reviewed by the state. The state going to have to approve it, and then the city of Lawrence have the choice to adopt that specific plan based on different negotiations and to present to the public on a specific rate to when it comes to the energy. Electricity comes in two parts. The delivery, which is National Grid, nobody can change that. And also the provider. The providers are independent providers, National Grid, and also they provided that if the city of Lawrence decide to go with a plan, and also city of Lawrence perhaps provider. It's not going to be called City of Lawrence, but I mean it's going to be provided through a contract that everybody joining to that plan is going to reduce the energy. That's something that we're working on. We just discussed that. We send it up to the full council to be reviewed on the 19th, and let's see how the city council vote about that. The city of Lawrence also discussed on that meeting a few other items regarding to one of the former city councilors brought up to us, and that was Rich Russell. He wanted to remove some of the monuments that have been in place, since that the award person's name is smaller than the mayor's and other names on the placard. So that's what's brought up to the city council. Thanks to Rich Russell for bringing that up. We're going to be reviewing that and making a recommendation, perhaps, or an opinion, or something on that matters for the mayor to review that and to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. Essentially, if an ordinance needs to be dropped out, and to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore, but that's one of the solutions as well. At the city of Lawrence, we approved $219,000 for the stormwater asset management. Essentially, they're going to be reviewing the stormwater situation in the city of Lawrence. That's been an ongoing situation, and essentially, they're looking out to see if at some point, maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 years from now, we can split the stormwater from the actual regular water that we actually dispose at everybody's house. So it's a challenge because it's a lot more expensive for the city of Lawrence. So we approved that at $219,000 to make sure that we have that story done. At the city council, something that I have a lot of passion about, we are discussing different issues, and this is one of the main issues that I've been putting a lot of time on it, and that's the transfer of property from the city of Lawrence to the LRA, to the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority. So the mayor, the administration, and the LRA, they want few properties to be transferred over to the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority. What are those properties? Which are those? All the parking lots around the city around the city hall, all the parking lots that the city owns, they want to transfer those to become part of the LRA. So the city doesn't own it anymore, and they're gonna be owned by the LRA, the Lawrence Development Authority. Who is the LRA? The LRA is an authority. It's an autonomous organization that is a kind of like, part of the government, but it's not, because they have an independent board that they can do whatever they want with the properties. The intent is not do whatever they want with the properties, but the intent is not quite clear as of what they want. I'm very against this because I truly believe that the plan, when it comes to any City of Lawrence property, need to be up front and not later. We want the property to be transferred to the LRA, and then we talk about the plan. When are we going to be talking about the plan? The property is long gone. Never. Exactly. So, essentially, I want councilors to be aware of that, because at the end of the day, those are the parking lots that are serving you today. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I know for sure that, you know, some time ago we did some deal with some garages, and now we own it, but we don't. So we own the responsibility and the liability portion of it, but we don't own the actual garage. So I don't want to see that happening anymore. It is a big, you know, discrepancy when it comes to different opinions, when it comes to different things. I believe in what I believe, and I believe that those properties should stay within Lawrence. And if any type of development is going to be done there, the plan needs to be presented, and you guys need to know about it before anything else. The city council approved two different, two mayor union contracts. One was for $1.8 million to the patrolman officers, and one was for $1.5 million to the firefighters of the city of Lawrence. That was very well discussed at the city council. We all agree upon the contracts. It is a well-deserved contract, and we need to be on top of what actually generating issues. And the retention problem on the patrol officer was related to salary, so we addressed that portion. And I hope also the firefighter, we address those issues, and I hope that now we'll be able to retain more officers that wanted to stay here, but the salary was too much of a gap between the city of Lawrence and other cities and towns. So that's part of the problem. So we have a no parking on Salem Street. The police officer just spoke about that. Avoid that area from early in the morning and the early afternoon. So, and that way it will be better for the traffic jams that might be anticipated. So essentially, it is an emergency measurement right now. On the 19th, we're going to have that discussion. Hopefully, that discussion that item get approved permanently onto the construction end. But I hope that, you know, some of that, you know, traffic jam that has been going on, that is going to happen there. It is for a good reason. We're going to have a good school being built, and anything related to education, anything related to our kids and the improvement of the quality of life for the future. I'm in favor of it, and that's something that we definitely need to consider. At the City Council, we have many petitions for National Grid and Eversource. We have what they call SO poles and JO poles, and a lot of conduits that is going to be underground. Something that we always talk about when they do any type of trench, they need to put it back together, backfill the proper way, compact it well, and have the proper material when it comes to the asphalt. A couple of days ago around my house, they were doing trench, and they were doing some gas main replacement. When I look at the trench, they have the permit to be working passing November 15 because of the urgency of the situation. Everything is urgent. I don't understand. Whatever. After November 19, they have the permit within the city to continue working all the way through the winter. So when I look at the material that they were using cold patch. Cold patch is not allowed whatsoever because that's gonna be gone within 3 weeks. They were using cold patch on the mid layer, and then they were covering up with, you know, regular hot asphalt. So if you're not capable to get the right material during the time that you're working on, just don't work, because you are putting in liability the entire city. Because I mean, essentially, we're gonna have one entire pothole And that's not acceptable. So I called the DPW director, he come over, he look at it, say, listen, no more cold patch. All of a sudden they stop using it. But that's basically what we need to do as a community to make sure that when you see something, you gotta tell your counselor, you gotta call the right department, and so far so on. So essentially, working together is something that we definitely need to improve and keep on doing because that's something that you take a village. So on the 19th, we're gonna have a presentation, hopefully, about at the city council level about the superintendent search. That's going to be presented to the school superintendent search. So that's been going on for a while now. They developed a profile for the candidates. They posted. It's a national search for the next Lawrence school superintendent. And on the 19th, they're gonna be presenting the actual search as of what they're doing to make sure that we have a transparent search, that we have a national search, and we have every step covered, because essentially what I have noticed is that the school department come in front of us for the budget approval, for any type of transfer and money issues. But when it comes to information, it is very challenging for them to get information over to the city council. So we hope that on the 19th we have that presentation, and we essentially have like a good idea of what's going on with the school superintendent and the search for that person. Yard waste. I hope that next time we have a meeting here, we have somebody from the DPW, because I think it's a lot of information that is going to come up when it comes to the prep and everything. So I'm gonna bring that up to the administration so they can, if they choose to, they can be here next time. But when it comes to yard waste, I get somebody here that asked me about it, and these are the month of the collection. On April, they're gonna start, and that's gonna be every week. They're gonna have collections for the yard waste on April. On May, June, July, August, and September, it's going to be every other week. Yard waste collection. In October and November, it's going to be every week, and then December for 2 weeks they're going to do yard waste collection as well. So essentially, we're going to have yard waste the entire month of April, and a couple of every other month right after that. Every month right after that, we're going to have every other week. And then in October and November, it's going to be every week as well. So it is important to recognize that the city of Lawrence, they pick up the mattresses. You got to call 978-620-3311. But now it is $30 for them to remove those mattresses. So price change on that. Make sure that you call them up, because they do it based on appointments, and essentially you're gonna have to pay $30.
What happens when people leave them out in the street?
That's a good question.
I know, because the road important for me for the longest time, those mattresses there.
Yeah, and they do pick them up for free, obviously, but that's wrong. People leave it on the street, and that's absolutely wrong. Budget season is going to start soon, so if you guys have any type of request to the mayor is the only one that can approve any type of allocations for any type of expenditures. Make sure that you get it up to your city council, and see if the city council can get it up to be part of the budget. Because the city council cannot add anything to the budget. We only can make cut to the budget, and essentially we're going to start a discussion, because obviously the fiscal year 2025 it got to be approved by June, at the end of June. So it's important to be aware of those discussions when it comes city of Lawrence have a $400 million budget, and let's see what happen next year. Any questions?
You spoke about the search for the superintendent. What's happening with the search for a qualified chief of police?
Well, the position was posted
Yeah, for 10 days.
10 days.
How long, the second time, how long was the superintendent posting for?
At least a month.
Doesn't that sound a little shady that he's on the ticket?
I actually told the mayor, like, you gotta put a committee to perform interviews and do everything that you need to happen for us to have a transparent search. That was not his choice. It is the mayor's appointee. And then once he appoints somebody, we're gonna have a say at the city council. So I'm waiting for somebody to come down. And then at that point, I'll have the information in front of me, and obviously a candidate that has questions. And essentially, we the city council might be able to make a determination.
Well, currently we have what's called a provisional police chief.
Yes.
How long can that?
It's 3 months.
If it was a temporary appointment, I believe.
It's 3 months also.
It was 3 months. What is a provisional?
Well, on the definition of the term, based on our book of contents, it is a provisional but for a year on the definition. But on the ordinance by itself, they specifically say that provisionals appointees are only for 3 months.
Okay.
So my assumption is 3 months, but the mayor is not going to go over that.
We already have the first time.
The first time, well, the provisional haven't gone 3 months yet.
So why isn't the city council, the 9 members of the city council, questioning or saying that's it?
Well,
We're
until
done,
yeah.
you can't run this scam any further.
Well, until the 3 months back for the provisional, because obviously there was a loophole. But as a matter of fact, the city council for District E, Stephanie Infante, vice president of the city council, and myself, we put an item on the agenda to actually change that portion. We're not able to do it as of right now because that's part of the charter, so it gotta be a charter change. But we're gonna somehow find a way to change that portion of it to make sure that the mayors only use and doesn't play the game again, either temporary appointment or a provisional appointment. So essentially, we wanted to make sure that doesn't happen anymore.
When is the 3 months out?
I don't have that list, but I can find out. Send it to them. No, and I have.
No, okay. I want to make a comment. First thing you mentioned about the monuments.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize what that was about. Somehow, I do not think that the mayor's name should be the most prominent name on Roger Toomey's tomb. They are the people that are being memorialized, not the mayor. I mean, everybody remembers years ago when Sal was going to redo the triangle down there, really wanted his name prominent, and Sal said, "Screw you, I'm gone." Okay? Now, okay, that was my comment. Now, question. Who is legitimately running Channel 8, the government channel, as a 501c3? And I'm asking this as both a well, not as a citizen. I don't even bother watching the council meetings because I'm there. You know that. But who authorized whoever is running it to run it illegally? I ask that, if, like I said, if both a citizen and as a member of the LCAT Board of Directors.
Yes.
Well, I can tell you this about the LCAT. They're here today. The city of Lawrence do not have a contract with LCAT anymore.
Contract is still in effect if it was never signed 7 years ago.
Well, it was not signed 7 years ago. According to what they said, the mayor and the administration, is that they've rescinded the services of the LCAT. As far as I know, they know that the city council is asking for the state to investigate the issue, to audit the issue, and I hope that at some point the city get that straight when it comes to running the channels. We have three different channels.
Reinstate Channel 8.
Huh?
Reinstate Channel 8.
Yeah, reinstate 8.
That's a public station.
No, it will be reinstated.
Yeah,
I mean,
when?
I don't know if the LCAT is gonna be running it.
Oh,
That's the-
LCAT will be running it.
That, I don't know about that. I mean, as a city council, I can tell you that.
As a board member, I know.
All right, so that the state is looking into an audit. It was requested by the.
The question I have is, how can anybody be posting your council meetings on any channel? Because nobody that is posting them, as far as I can tell, is a 501c3, and that's a prerequisite to be using, posting stuff under that peg law.
As far as the advice that we get from the city solicitor, not only a 501c3 can run the channel. We have 3 channels in the city of Lawrence. One that is the educational one that is the government, and one that is the community. At the end of the day, what I'm more concerned about it is that we have the information up to the public and not necessarily who is actually putting the information up there. To me, what is important is that the citizens of the city of Lawrence get the information.
Even if it's being given to them in an illegal manner?
Well,
You're in the council,
Rich.
let it go, it's just as complicit as the city solicitor.
Rich.
What he can.
Rich, you are putting the word illegal. I need to go for what the city solicitor is telling me. I'm not saying it is illegal. I'm saying, at the end of the day, what I care about is that the information get to the community, get to the people, because that's what it matters. Not the LCAT, not the board members, not the city council, and not the administration. Sorry. No, let them be. That's fine. Kelly.
I just have a quick thing. I am getting signatures. I don't know if I'm gonna do any good. I'm just a peasant in the city. But on Andover Street over here, they got approved for 17, no, they got approved for 10. And now they're going up 2 floors in between an R2 and an R3. And they only have 20 parking spots, maybe 24 tops. So you're talking 22 bedroom apartments. I'm looking to squash it. There's already a lot of traffic. You have flooding zone there. You have people trying to come out of where the Weatherby is, buses coming out on Amherst Street. There's crosswalks there and a bus stop. It's very dangerous. And we don't need that building over here. Nothing against North Lawrence, but you can't park a car. There's residency parking. I'm asking, if you want to sign it, I'm here. I'm going to do my best, get a lawyer, and put it in for the 20 days. So see me afterwards if you'd like to sign it. Do I have any questions?
Thank you, Kelly. By the way, the sign to your street.
My sign's not right either, but that's a.
No, I thought you were gonna bring them up.
No, you don't have to bring it up. Take the other questions out of the way.
No. I was gonna send you an update because I got my updates. I told you that I was gonna work on that, right?
Yep.
So we got the signed order. The tracking number should be on my email today or tomorrow. They have it. They send that over to be made, and then get it to the city hopefully this week. If not, at the beginning of next week, we're gonna have the signs for the proper timing. The timing, by the way, on the current signs have been changed to 2 o'clock, but it's not the signs that we're gonna leave there. We did a temporary fix, we covered the one, we put the 2, and if nobody wanna pick on it, and then they say, oh, okay, that's on a sticker. Yes, it is on a sticker, but it is a temporary fix until we get the signs not later than next week.
That's what got so far, so thank you.
During that 10-day posting of the police chief, how many people signed up for it and who reviewed it, looked at it, say who's gonna come in as a chief?
Well, as a counselor, I can tell you that we're very respectful to the process, and the process have not yet get to the city council's office. As far as the mayor says, I don't know if you guys know what I do at the city council, but I'm very, very particular when it comes to the administration. I'm not a rubber stamp, and I'm gonna be straightforward. The mayor see me as one of the worst councilors there, and I don't care because I'm doing my job.
Next to the worst.
And
I was the worst.
and I'm telling you, the process when it comes to the search for the police department, for the police department chief, has not been published. We know that they posted it for 10 days. I hear that they are the 2 applicants were there. That's rumors. I don't know. As a city council president, that haven't been given up to us. So how many candidates we have? But I hear that it was 2 candidates, and essentially down the road, they're gonna send it up to the full council. Once they get to the full council, we have and the way that the city shadows work, that's one of the positions that the mayors appoint, and we confirm as a councilor. There is 5 votes that is required to confirm any of those positions, and essentially that's going to come down to the city council, and the city council are going to make a decision whether or not that gets a confirmation.
Don't you think we should be reposting that, give more opportunity for other people to take a look at it instead of a 10-day quick look?
I told the mayor the same. I thought that he was supposed to be. I thought that he was going to do it for longer. On my end, I'm happy to have a national search to make it transparent to everybody. As a matter of fact, I probably think that I probably goes. I mean, it's up to the mayor, but he doesn't believe in that. That's what he told me.
So the mayor's gonna do whatever he wants, right?
When it comes to that appointee, this is right to do so.
So he's gonna basically do whatever he wants.
Well, when it comes to appointees, it is the mayor's power.
Posting for 10 days.
That's the only requirement. They're going by some requirements. The 10 days is the requirement. So they're going based on requirements. It's not my preference. Trust me. I'm not in favor of that. I believe that in the way that the superintendents for the school department was done they did at least 30 days. I think that's right. Because you get more people to apply. You got a national search. They're doing the right thing. Are we doing the right thing? The mayor have the choice to do so, but he choose not to. So.
What's the guy's money coming in?
Sure.
Until we get to the city council, I won't be able to tell you much. But I know that when it comes to the city council, at least 5 councilors got to be a yes councilor for that appointees to get the job permanent. And then at that point, we have an opportunity to discuss.
I probably should keep.
No? We miss you at the council, though.
Every policeman in this state should be applauded what's going on. A patrol, you go onto the police department, you become a patrolman. you ought to go to become a sergeant, a lieutenant, a detective. Become a captain if this force is large enough. Some forces are not lieutenant. Every policeman in this city, every policeman in this state, every policeman in this country should be appalled at what's going on. This is, if I were best buds with the mayor and the mayor said, I'm gonna make you the chief of police, I'd be ashamed to show my face. Because I have no qualifications. Yes, maybe you've been in the administrative side of law enforcement, but you've never had your boots on the ground. And that's what counts. I mean,
I got a point here. You said you're appalled. I don't know what you're appalled about. I mean, you just spurred some words there and just.
what am I appalled about?
Yes, you said.
That we've got a provisional police chief who has no experience.
So stop. Why is that back on every other policeman here? I think you just hit on too many people. Why should they be appalled on a system that they don't have anything to do or not? And I don't know the system. So I take offense with you being appalled with every single policeman. That's all I'm saying. And
We back the
appalled
blue.
that every policeman is appalled, I believe, is appalled at the fact that this is going on.
I didn't hear that.
Did you say with what you sent out there to be the chief of police, you have two names that came back?
That's what I hear, but I don't know that confirmed.
Is it within the department?
Huh?
Within the department?
I believe it was, yes, I believe it was, because it was internal, I believe. We have no information whatsoever on the search.
I don't understand why they would go for a national search. We have police officers in our city, wonderful police officers. They know these streets, they know the people, they know the area. And don't tell me it's because it is too political. So we have to look for someone on the outside to come in. It's still gonna be political. You're never gonna get rid of politics. Because there are gonna be certain people that are, this man that knows nothing about our city or any of our offices, our new chief, there are gonna be people that are gonna bring him his coffee. What can I get? It becomes political again. Let's just leave it within our department.
I mean, I guess that's what the mayor chose that too. He didn't listen to many opinions when it comes to the search, and I hope that at some point we'll be able to discuss a possibility of getting a search that actually works for everybody.
So, I know, well, I've been told as well by reliable sources that over a dozen people applied for that position, and you're only aware of two. So,
I really don't know. I mean, I hear about two. That's what I hear.
So, my question is, if all of these people apply, and there's only talk of two, what happened to the other over 10 officers that applied? Where
To
are
be
those
honest with you,
applications?
I hear two, but I really don't know how many applied for.
So you guys never
We
found
have,
out?
no, we have no idea. We have, at least they haven't presented any information, official information to the city council. If some councilors know about it, it's not because it's been presented officially.
Good luck with that. I still got some out from last year.
Any questions?
He has this idea of who he wants. He then has to present it to the city council to basically approve this person, correct?
Correct.
So you guys are still sort of in the dark, the city council, without all of that information, and you won't know until it comes to you to be able to then have.
Correct. We only see one candidate.
So as a
And by the way, I want everybody to be aware, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that, but this district, just like any other district, you have not only one councilor, you have 4 councilors, 3 at large and one district. So not only talk to the city, to the district city councilor, speak with your large councilor as well. Because that's also part of the people that represent you as citizens.
Where are they? It's a good thing I'm good with.
Don't ask me, Rich, I'm here.
I just wanted to make a comment on the fact that during the state of the city, you hear the city's doing great. We have a lot of money. It's never been in this status, right? We're doing great. Then I already let you know that I didn't appreciate Mark Iannello going before the Budget and Finance Committee saying, hey, we're going to have to increase taxes, most likely in 2025, because to be able to sustain the contract to the firefighters. I took offense to it because I'm saying, wait a minute, he took it like a 30% increase, salaries being increased everywhere. They haven't even given the police a contract yet, and he's already said we're going to increase because of the firefighters. So I appreciate if he was a little smarter, or maybe more kind, and present it to us, because I'm a taxpayer, as a homeowner, I pay taxes. And I don't mind when there's a tax increase for the right reasons, for the right, you bring the resources, and you're going to show me why I had an increase, I'm okay for it. But not like that, not the way he presented it, so that's why I thought, if you're going to increase taxes, give us the right reasons, and maybe I'll vote for it. You know how that goes. Either they increase the taxes or your house values goes up, they'll get you anyway. But I just thought that if you're going to brag that the city is in good standards, money, why are we increasing taxes? I'm not against the tax increase, just do it for the right reason.
Any other questions? So I hope that I actually bring up a full spectrum of what's going on at the city council. Next month, I hope that I can prepare a better reporting, and let's go from there.
Should we look into all these other names and schools that we went to that police chief thing?
I can look at it. I can ask, yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
All the questions have been asked, and this should be really fast, right? Right? First of all, listen, I've been on the council now for 19 years. I will tell you this. Come over here, Chief. Come here. I've served with a lot of police chiefs. Voted to confirm a lot of police chiefs. And I don't want to rate police chiefs because then there's things that can go a little sideways. One of the best votes I've ever taken, and I would take it again happily and gladly, is for this guy as the
And I'd be happy to fill you in on the process, or how it should be, or the process that I went through, just so you know.
A couple of small things or big things, I'm not sure, but I wanted to make sure it's on your radar screen. The council president did talk a little bit about aggregation, that fancy word about electric bills that we're all going to have to deal with. Tomorrow night, the Department of Public Utilities, it's the state agency that actually sets the electric rates, is having a public hearing in certain communities. Lawrence is one of them, to hear our comments regarding, this should be a shock, our rate increase for electricity. So it is tomorrow night, March the 12th, 7 p.m. at the South Lawrence East School. You are all invited to attend. This public notice, I think it's 3% and then additional 1.8% after every month. It's going to continue to go up over the next 5 years. But it's, by law, they have to have public hearings, and they're in our city. So if you have an interest in both listening and speaking out on that, that will be tomorrow night at South Lawrence East. Some smaller other notes. If you're a homeowner in this city, will you please raise your hand? Thank you. We have in this city a tax credit for property owners. It's $500 if you were to work and volunteer in the, not volunteer, I'm just gonna do a little something, but if you were to work and let's say in the veterans office or the library or any city agency, the city will reduce your property tax by $500. Now, what I'm going to do, and I have a co-sponsor, Counselor at Large Anna Levy is going to join me on this. We are going to try to bump that up to $1,000. So we're going to try to change the ordinance. I've talked to the city assessor. We've talked to the city assessor. We do have abatement money. That's money already dedicated for either refunds if you object to your property tax, but also for this. The money is not the issue here. We do have it. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully the next time I have a chance to speak with you, I'll give you some good news. This one right here, raise your hand first. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, with the reducing property tax, isn't that income-based?
No, it's not income-based. If you're on, no, not on this particular program. This is not the senior tax circuit credit. This is the property tax. If you, regardless of your income, if you work for the city and as a volunteer, I'm using quotes, you can get that. Did you apply and you were rejected for that reason?
No, I mean, I know like in Andover, you can't go above a certain income.
This is not Andover. As we all know. So that's good news. It's for anybody who owns a property.
If they're a senior.
You have to be a senior. Sorry, that's an important part, right? I know most of you here do not qualify because you're under 62, but if you're not, if you're old, if you're a senior, that's right, senior. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
I have a notified spouse who's disabled.
Yeah.
I know somebody in here who is a Gold Star mom.
Yes.
And we get discounts on our taxes. Can that, what you're talking about, can that also be used? Because we have a big discount, disqualified for both seats.
So I wish I could give you a real sweet and quick answer on that, but I'm not going to be able to. Why? It does deal with tax law. A lot of our tax policy is regulated by the Commonwealth for state law purposes. So there are certain things we can and can't do independently. I don't have an answer to that question. My gut tells me on something like that, these other things have already been passed by the legislature, so we can do it. I don't know if that's there, but I would talk to your counselor, your at-large counsel perhaps, who can probably get you a straighter answer than I can give you off the cuff tonight.
Use that money to pay for the firefighters' contract.
So, I'm going to keep moving on, Debo. What else? 1, 2, 3. The council president was very good about talking about all the fantastic things that we're doing, and we're right, and we have been very, very busy. I will express to you, there's some disappointment though, I wanted to share this with you. We only had one meeting in the month of March, and I know we have a very busy schedule, and I think that all of us, speaking of pay increases, every city councilor got $10,000 more this year, and I expect that if we're going to be paid a little bit more, we should continue to keep working whatever we do. I don't remember, well, I've been on this for 19 years, I don't remember the last time on a presidential year that we only had one meeting in March. And so I'm going to keep an eye on this. The summertime is going to be another opportunity. We need to work. There's plenty of things to do, plenty of good things, as the council president mentioned. We got to keep at it. We can't be taking breaks or vacations on that. And so I hope you'll support me as we try to move through to make sure that we just do our jobs. And that's the big thing. Last thing, on a positive note, White Fund. I love the White Fund. Has anybody gone to a White Fund lecture? I mean, those things are awesome. You're right, Mr. Garrison. Yeah, you were there. You were there. So, one guy from Lawrence, this is St. Patrick's, we're on our green St. Patrick's Day. One guy from Lawrence named Patrick Donahue. That name may not mean anything to you, but Sergeant York might mean something to you. And so the Sergeant York story, very simply, was that in World War I, he single-handedly brought in 130 German prisoners. Single-handedly. Long story short, got the Congressional Medal of Honor in 1940. What was the name of that actor that played him? Gary Cooper played Sergeant York, and they won all these things back in 1940. But guess what? there was a guy from Lawrence named Patrick Donahue, who also was part of 16 others that actually were the guys that actually did the corralling and the shooting and everything else to capture these 138, I think, German combatants. So there's a book out regarding that story, and there's a little bit of sadness as well. He never really got his claim to fame. They worked so hard to try to get him the medal. And it was only up until 1944, some guy named Tommy Lane. Does anybody remember Tommy Lane, the name Congressman Lane? Congressman Lane actually petitioned the Department of the Army and said, we got to get this guy a Silver Star for what he did, and he did get a Silver Star, finally in 1944. But the movie, some people got $1,500 who were part of the military. Some people got $500 who were part of that, little royalties for that stuff. Our Laurentian got paid the least amount. You want to guess how much he got paid? You know the answer? How much? How much? $5. $5 is right. He got paid lower than anybody else. He was taken to the cleaners and taken advantage of. Everybody else got $250, $500, $750, $1,500. Our Patrick Donahue got $5. Well, Lane got involved in whatever, and Warner Brothers, and finally, a little bit of shame. Shame works sometimes, a little bit of shame. They finally got, those guys that didn't get as much, got $250. Back in 1940, that was something back in the day. Not nearly 1,500, but it was something. So anyway, there was a corner that I voted for in 2016, right near the Immigration Center, that was dedicated to Patrick Donahue. And he still has relatives today. Pat Waters, who many of you may or may not know, is his, help me, great niece or niece? Great niece or niece? Great niece.
He was her great uncle.
That's right, okay. And so she's still with us, and thankfully for Pat Waters, she pushed hard as part of the family to get him the kind of acclaim. He died in 1954, I think. So he was destitute. He lived in an apartment on Common Street. A single family had PTSD. So a tragic end, but we should be very proud on St. Patrick's Day. A guy named Patrick Donahue finally got a little bit of love, and there was a book about him that we went to the White Fund to listen to. So I wanted to share that St. Patrick's story to you. Yes, Pat?
Would he be someone that we could honor at Stockton Park?
He could. He could very well be. If we get that commission up like we want, that would be a very good nominee, I think. Yes. So that's it. That's it. Thank you very much.
Marcos, you want to say something?
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you, Brenda. I'm running again. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be so happy to work for you as I have done for 17 years in government. So I don't have anything to look for, not even my ego, fame, money, because I have it all already. I just like to do my job and serve the people. And just to be in that part of the balance that make the equilibrium, that make things fair and good to everyone. So I'm running for the state representative for the 16th Essex District once again. And I would like to add other 2 or 3 more period terms because I feel good and ready to go and to continue doing this. As I said, I'm not crazy. Maybe people thought of that when I ran 5 times to become a city councilor at large back in 1999 when I served along with Mike Sullivan and other colleagues and served for 6 years. And the guy who gave the vote to make me the first Dominican descent mayor in the United States, not just Lawrence, was this guy.
Mark LaPlante. She came to sit close. And I'm a lawyer, and I'm also a person that I'm grateful. And I'm grateful forever. Because gratitude is the best quality a human should have. To be grateful to those that gives you something. So I'm not running for my ego, to get any more fame or money. I'm just running to work with you. And I want to reiterate my thanks to all of you for many years, for your votes, your support. And I love to be participating in this, in my neighborhood association. I lived in the F District for over 10 years or so when I moved back to North Lawrence, to Prospect Hill. So, and I served as your city council at large for 6 years, 3 terms. I have served 11 years as a state legislator. So I had a little thing to learn in government. But I have a lot of allies, strong allies at the State House and in Capitol Hill to help my city and my people. So I wish you would sign the paper and just get a pen and get some signatures here because I'm running and I'll be back like Arnold, something Arnold. Thank you.
Okay, next, I'm gonna call Pat Mariano, but before I call up Pat Mariano, does everyone have a ticket?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You ready for me?
You're up.
I promise I won't take a long time. Even though I have about 8 pages to do. No. Okay. It's been a very busy time for the school system. I'd like to tell you about the superintendent search. The application update is as follows. To date, the job posting has been viewed by 912 hits on the job application since February 15th. As of March 7th, we have 30 applications that we've received. The Alma Group, which is the company that's working with us, screens the candidates for the first round. Alma will assess each candidate's competencies and how they align with the district's priorities. They will conduct a phone interview, do an initial background screening, and a resume review. After all this is completed, they will identify those candidates who will move on to the second round. The second round interview group consists of a parent, an elected official, a teacher, and a school administrator, plus the 3 subcommittee members from the LAE. This group will conduct in-depth interviews with each candidate and ultimately come up with 3 finalists. At the finalist round, the candidates will spend 2 days in the city with us. They will meet with 7 interview panels consisting of staff, students, parents, community members, and Rich, I'm not going to say stakeholders because I know how you feel about that. Elected officials and the LAE. Nominations, this is where we can all help. Nominations for the interview panels is open to the public, which means if you would like to serve on one of those 7 panels, watch for our notification that we're going to put out, which will probably be in about 2 or 3 weeks. You can self-nominate, you can nominate yourself, or you can nominate somebody else. Alma will conduct a random lottery to fill the 12 to 15 participants for each panel. So there's going to be 7 panels with 12 to 15 participants. Alma will complete the findings of the panels for the LAE board in preparation of a vote. I'm going to stop right here and I'll take any questions that you may have about
Can I
that
ask you a
search.
question?
Yes, hi.
How are you? Nice to see you. First of all, like I say, congratulations. Obviously, the work you do is second to none in the community, and everybody definitely is thankful and in need of what you do. I'm just overly impressed with what you just said in terms of an actual search for a superintendent. Would you say that that's consistent with what they do across the Commonwealth?
Typically, this group that we're working on now, working with, they're out of Chicago, and they were involved in the Everett search.
But you'd say that that's a very professional, very thorough, 7 committees. I mean, it seems very, very thorough. The applications, the background checks, the initial interviews. It seems very thorough, correct?
Well, my feeling is, if I was going to be responsible for this as chair of the LAE, I was going to be, and I expected the group to be as transparent as possible and to talk to as many stakeholders, Rich, as we possibly could.
Right, so I would just say that I would think all of the very, important, let's say, department head searches should be just like that, very thorough, because that's what the community deserves. I think you would agree.
Yep.
I was involved with, I was involved with Cynthia Paris's search, I don't know how many years ago, and we never did anything like this. It is so, I can't even say enough about them. It is so thorough, and I firmly believe when we have a candidate, it's going to be the right candidate for our kids. And that's what I want. Not so much for the adults, but the right candidate for the kids. And I think this is going to work for us. Yes?
Is the school out of receivership?
Excuse me?
Are they out of receivership now?
No, but from that point, I believe once the superintendent is selected, conversations will now start with a slow transition back to the local control. All right, if it's all right with you, I'm going to continue because I know it's getting late. Recently, the high school conducted a career and trade fair, and that's to help the students explore different technical and career options. 30 organizations were there represented by, the 30 organizations, and 300 students attended that job fair. Something to brag about, our college acceptances so far. The class of 2024 has received almost 400 college acceptances. 38% of the kids were accepted to 4-year private colleges, 22% of the kids in 4-year in state public colleges, 2% in 4-year out-of-state colleges, and 37% out of 2-year public schools. And a few of the notable colleges are Babson, Boston College, Boston University, Northeastern, Northern Essex, Providence College, Bryn Mawr College, Bucknell University, College of the Holy Cross, Mass Maritime Academy, Merrimack College, Yale University, Swarthmore College, Tufts University, University of Connecticut, and Wellesley College. 2 students have already received the Quest Bridge Scholarship, which is a full 4-year scholarship worth $200,000. 3 students have already received the Posse Scholarship, which again is a full vote. Now I'm going to show off my construction updates. You know, being part of the Oliver Building Fund and Building Committee and the Leahy Building Committee, I get to hear all this technical stuff. Excuse me, you're laughing. All right, at the Oliver site, the team continues to install framing and sheathing on the east side of the building addition, progressing toward the west side along the exterior. Concrete placements continue throughout the new addition and are on track to be complete early this spring. Installation of rough overhead mechanical, plumbing, and electrical equipment continues throughout the new addition, along with fireproofing at steel beams. In the existing building, excavation has been completed for the underground utilities and backfilling of these areas. Now, special to my heart, on March 20th at 10 a.m., the topping ceremony will take place at the Leahy School. Anyone know what the topping ceremony is? All right, let's see, Mr. Kamasa, go ahead.
That's when you take the top beam and it goes up.
Exactly, okay?
I know that because I was on the Weatherby committee and the
All right.
alongside.
All right, so the topping ceremony is a long-standing tradition among construction workers, particularly steel workers, to commemorate the completion of the building structure with the placement of the final steel beams. This is a major milestone for the project. If you go, you will be able to sign the beam before it's lifted to its correct place. All right, so that's March 20th at 10 o'clock at the Leahy School. Now, a few other things going on in the district. Thursday, March 14th at 6 p.m. at the Performing Arts Center, there's a district music concert. This weekend, the LHS boys hurdle relay finished 18th in the country at the New Balance Nationals. Okay? The boys celebrating all these great things. The boys' basketball team season came to an end Friday night against a very good Catholic Memorial team. But it was a great playoff run with 2 big wins, including against the rival Central Catholic in their gym. In late February, the Lawrence High School girls wrestling team finished second in the Division I Girls State Wrestling Championships, and 2 wrestlers, Abbott freshman Caitlin Belanger and LHS 10th grader Hillary McDonald, became the first female D1 individual state champs in the school's history. Hillary then went on to win the All-State tournament as well. That's right.
And represent Lawrence, I went over to support him.
All right, for being such good listeners, I have in my little folder here 10 pairs of tickets for 2 to the upcoming production of Tarzan, and we're going to raffle those off. Now, the only requirement, if you win these tickets, is that you attend the show, and then in June, when we have our final meeting, you're going to do a review of the show and tell everybody about what you thought of the show. The tickets are for April 26th and 27th or May 3rd or 4th. So there's going to be 10 winners. I don't want to pick them out, maybe. Why don't you have
If I win, I go.
When we call your number, come up and get them. I have an envelope for you.
The ticket is?
Ticket is, the last 2 numbers are 19
Number 10.
Yes, 010. Okay.
Enjoy the show.
Okay, last three numbers are 008. 008. Okay. So,
Oh, all set?
yep.
Enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show. Okay, this one is 018.
Right there.
Zero one seven.
017. There you go.
Zero zero three.
This, from one of the stakeholders.
No, this is Lee's ticket. I was 002.
There you go.
I get the
You get that.
one with the bubble gum, right?
Yeah.
Zero 35.
Oh, that's me.
You go.
Forgot it wasn't the ballet.
Don't be funny.
037.
Kelly.
37, 037.
037.
Somebody else.
Very good. Okay. 025.
Got it for someone that
Okay.
025.
She has it for someone who left.
There.
Right there.
Oh. There you go.
Okay. Wanna pick again? Of course you do. Okay. 041.
Two more. I should bring these to the city hall. Are you kidding?
Zero four two.
You already going as a date?
Yeah, we're going as a date.
Oh my God. Last one.
040.
040.
Right there?
Oh, one more? Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So,
I'm sorry, I thought.
okay, no.
They're going as a pair.
They're going as a date.
Yeah, Sue and I are going as a date.
They're going
so
as a
we're
date.
on.
Okay. 031.
You got it?
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you. Congratulations to the winners, and don't forget your review.
Next time, next time I do, then,
Okay, so let me just make a note that the next,
You have a question?
Okay, so the next meeting is going to be June 10th. And it will be our summer, going into summer meeting.
Take care. Good to see you guys. Take care.
Take care, everybody. Very good size meeting.
When you were